20 minutes, probably.
2 empties, and he had the third in his hand. So more
but
power
you know what?
to him.
I give you even money
that he poured them out.
No, they were 2 empties from the night before, set there to look like, look, I'm getting through this.
He kind of acted like he had 2 quick ones.
Now, by the way, folks, alcohol outlawed in the clubhouse.
Right, yeah.
So
yeah.
the days are different in the clubhouse.
It's kind of dumb
that it's outlawed.
It's just PR.
When you have somebody die in a...
I understand that. I get it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that if a guy had, don't tell me that back there where they eat the sandwiches or something, somebody can't get a beer. I'm not buying it. I'm not.
Okay.
Skeptic.
Anyway.
I'm not selling, so,
I know.
You skeptic.
Anyway, doesn't really matter. But
and by the way, the Royals I'm talking about the Cardinals pitcher that had a fatal...
what was his name?
Darryl Kyle?
That was Darryl Kyle.
No, Darryl Kyle died
he had a heart
attack. I think it was an aneurysm.
Yeah, a guy was driving.
I was at Wrigley Field that day.
He was driving.
The game was canceled
When Girardi had to announce it.
Yeah, I forget the guy's name. He had it. He was driving. He was also driving 80 and texting.
Wasn't Ventura? We're talking about the guy that Ventura put his number on the mound.
No, it's not Oscar Taveras.
No, that's who I'm thinking of.
It wasn't Oscar Taveras.
Nick Aiden.
Reliever Nick Aiden. That might be it.
That sounds about right.
I think Taveras would have died in the offseason because Giordano did that Game 6 of the World Series.
Angels.
Was it Angels?
Yeah.
Had he been with the Cardinals?
Well,
there was a guy with the Cardinals too.
There was a guy from the guy. There was a guy in the Cardinals who
right.
died on the way home from. But that may have been a texting.
I think he ran into a truck. Right, it ran under the back end of a truck.
I think he was in the left.
He was texting and went right under it. Right,
or something like that. Anyway.
But
yes, the diversion comes from the fact that the Rose did indeed, for whatever reason, trot Billy Butler out to and it was as. It's like I remember when he used
it was as bad as you think it could have. If you didn't live through that,
it was also bad fortune. I mean, sometimes you can kind of get, maybe they want to hit the ball to him 10 times, but it's just like, okay, you're going to try that, and he had 8 chances in every game. You can play a game in left field and not have the ball hit to you maybe never in a game. I mean, that can happen. Or
not that often. But what was the guy's name?
Yeah, sorry about the interruption. Josh Hancock.
Josh
in
Hancock.
07.
2007. Yeah.
But anyway, yes. So that to me is just one of the things that has to change. And I think will change.
And I think will change, too. So I don't think we have to worry about that part. But what that may mean is that, we may never have seen as much of MJ Melendez.
I've had a couple of people...
but he hit not the problem. He did it. I mean, he hit 47 home runs in a minor league season. So
and should have been traded right then. Because you should have known he can't catch, and you had no idea where you're going to play him. So you should have maxed out his value and traded him right then. I had a argument with Jeff Passan about that. Either he or Salvador Perez must go. One of them, either you believe in the kid and he's going to hit, then you move Salvador Perez right now, or you don't believe in him and you keep Perez and you move that kid for the things you need.
Right, and I get it from the standpoint that he's a good athlete. You can tell he's a good athlete. He can run a little bit. But being a good athlete and being a good fielder or a good enough fielder are two different things.
He's improved significantly. I'm not against the idea that he can't become a very good left fielder.
If he can,
it's just the idea that we're going to do it on the fly in the big leagues cannot be the plan.
And also, if he can hit consistently, he's good enough to play in the field.
Yeah,
I mean, there's worse guys, but that's the problem. He goes into an absolute tank where he can't hit
and if he's
going
to play left field, you have to hit. This club, you're going to have to hit because they're always going to prioritize defense. And so, yes, Bobby Wood Jr. can really rake, but they don't have a third baseman that can hit, and they're not just going to go buy one, right? Michael Garcia is there for defense, and he's playing up the middle now, and they've got Kyle Isbell, who's there for defense, playing up the middle. Then left field and right field and first and third, they got to hit.
And part of the reason the Royals have revived after a long lackluster stretch is because the guys at the corners of the outfield have hit for about a month now. And, Renfro's hit for a month. Melendez is hit for a month. You tend to buy it a little bit more, not 300 for Hunter Renfroe with power. He's never really done that. But he's a better hitter than he's shown. But Melendez, you're really rolling the dice because this has been just flashes in the pan for him. So, but if those guys hit the rest of the year, those two guys hit the rest of the year pretty well, or I might pick them to make the playoffs. I just don't perhaps see it happening, and that's why maybe what happens at the trade deadline is important. Are they going to bring in a bat, or are they going to look at that and say, we believe in Melendez. This is what we bought in Renfroe. We're not adding there. We're going to add a relief pitcher instead.
I think they prioritize run prevention, and they're going to take care of that first. But I will say this. I've had a number of people say, remember when Mike Moustakas really struggled and then turned it on in the postseason of 14? I really hope that's MJ Melendez this year. Well, I do too. But organization championships pitching? Are not built on hope.
And against better pitching?
Yeah. Yeah, but look, I give the kid every chance. The other thing is, like you mentioned that minor league season, it was a season.
Yeah, yes, it was a
That's
season.
It. The rest of the years of his minor leagues, there's nothing that says this is the guy. So, yeah, I'm not feeling it.
Right.
Danny Klinkskills with us. He's brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. Online at eastonroofing.com. You know, the best commercial roofing manufacturers in the country. Work only with the best roofers. Here in Kansas City, that's Easton Roofing. Names like Elevate, Geico, Carlisle, JM. They supply the very best. They supply Easton Roofing. That's why they can write warranties on commercial flat roofs up to 30 years. Only a handful of companies across the entire country can say that. Easton Roofing is that company here in Kansas City. Find them online at eastonroofing.com.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here at the 23rd Street Brewery with Matt Llewellyn. And Matt, basketball's over, football's still a few months away, but there's always fun to be had at the 23rd Street Brewery.
Absolutely. We've always got something going on here. The games are always going on. It's a great place to come enjoy everything out on the patio. Beautiful scenery out there. Great beer. I've got a great brewer, great food. It's always fun here at the brewery.
And the atmosphere is great and friendly and warm, too.
We always want to make sure you're a lot happier when you leave than you were when you came in.
Always fun here at the 23rd Street Brewery at 23rd and Castle. Make sure to come by when you're in Lawrence.
All right, the show's Kansas City Barbecue Burnt End of the Hour answer. What player credited with the creation of the touchdown dance?
Elmo Wright.
75 years old today, first-round pick of the Chiefs in 1971, Elmo Wright.
Not the greatest dance either.
No.
He sort of just high steps like a drum major and then spikes the ball. But, I mean, nobody else was doing anything, so
it was a big deal.
So first is
first.
Mm-hmm.
First is first.
Yeah.
You're not second loser.
You know, if this question was asked in any other town, I'm sure the answer would have been Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Probably so.
Who probably had the first good dance.
Well, I saw an old highlight of him.
Swivel of the legs, is that a good dance?
I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. And he did the thing where he put the ball behind his back and then did the splits. And did the splits and did some stuff.
He had some variations. I liked it all right.
Yep. Billy White Shoes Johnson. Now everyone was watching.
Who do you think has the best touchdown dance ever?
I can't
if
think
there
of
is,
one.
there is one.
Oh, clearly Icky Woods. I mean, what a moment of brilliance. I couldn't figure out why that was a thing. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing ever.
It almost looked like he had to relieve himself.
I'm going over here. No, wait a minute. I'm going over there. Like, no, it was terrible.
And then
the Fun Bunch from the Washington Commanders.
I think the Gritty is way overrated. I'm not a fan. I mean, it's a very simple dance. You know, anybody can.
Yes, I've seen enough. I don't understand. Usually things have like a year, and they go like they're still doing it. It's like, come up with something new.
I agree.
Creativity sucks now.
This wasn't so much a dance, but when there's a random play that the Bucs ran where Warren Sapp wound up catching a touchdown, and he just did this great little hop around move that was probably not great dance moves. It was just funny to watch a fat guy do it. Similar to B.J. Raji's one of the NFC Championship.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was interesting to say the least.
Yeah. The fact that we're groping would indicate that there's truly not a great one.
Joe's Kansas City Barbecue, we just gave it away. Get you some Joe's on the way home, joeskc.com. Don't forget about the Kansas City Barbecue Store. If you're going to be doing some grilling out, they got everything you need, from the grill itself, the sauces, the rubs, the utensils, wonderful sauces and rubs from all over the country. Everything. It's right there at 119th and Strang Lane, right across the parking lot from Joe's Kansas City Barbecue. Get you everything to grill like a pro outdoors. It is the Kansas City Barbecue Store. Danny Clinkscale is with us here in the program. Big 12 Media Day is next week, Dan. And the Jayhawks, 8.5 wins. K-State, 9.5 wins. But Utah is the favorite. K-State the second favorite. Pretty close, K-State is to Utah. KU fourth in the Big 12. Are you good with that?
Yeah, because I think there are enough uncertainties about the Jayhawks. I mean, they can cover it. They can win games if they don't get standout quarterback play, which they proved last year, and because they always run the ball, etc. But right now, you'd have to bet that you're not going to get 12 games of Jalen Daniels. I mean, that hasn't been something that's been proven through the couple of years that he's been there. He's been around, so I was certain that he was done. That eligibility was done. I remember being a little surprised. I'm like, great, he can come back. Super. Of course, we're still in post-COVID. When I don't know if they'll. It's almost like if you want to come back. I guess there's something in the paper this morning about the Christian Brown's camp, and so it was about Parker Brown weighing his future options. I'm like, he's done. He's got no more eligibility, and this guy's been at like 5 places too. I mean, was he at Cal or something like that?
Missouri for 10 minutes,
right? But I was like almost surprised. I had no interest really in the article. No knock on Parker Brown, but I just was like, my interest was he's done. And it said whose eligibility has expired. I think
last year was the
surprised.
Last time they could the end of the COVID year, right? That was last season. Was last year. This year, no one can have a 5th year this year. Correct? Am I right? Remembering that correctly?
The thing is,
I don't know.
You know what? They're getting paid now. Why don't they just say however long you want? I mean, what's the difference? I mean, really, they can move from one school to the next. I mean, are they really student?
They're supposed to represent a university, and most of the university population is 18 to 23-ish.
Yes,
theoretically doing a lot of work.
But a lot of work many bets are off here. I think we could absolutely get to a time of like, sure, however long you want to stay, you can be Will Ferrell, Rodney Dangerfield, whatever. You can just play for the squad, however long you want.
45-year-old guy out there.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm not. I think that's possible. I do think it's possible. Because really now they are professional athletes, which is fine, wearing the uniform of a university. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Many of them have graduated, and now
I'm not arguing.
Now they're attending. I guess they have to attend school and going for a doctorate or their third degree in something. Whatever. But many have graduated. Many.
Do you think that's actually they're even going to keep them going to class?
I don't know.
Who was the last guy that was declared academically ineligible?
I don't remember. That used to be a thing. Remember when we got to bowl season? That was a real thing.
It's kind of like marijuana.
The semester would change.
Marijuana is still against the rules in the NFL. Who was the last guy who tested positive for marijuana?
Is it really still?
Yeah.
They haven't said it, it's not like the NBA.
They don't look, they don't test. It's don't ask, don't tell. Right, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe in the last couple of years they've finally taken it off. But for years, because I remember there was a player, and I was talking to somebody, I'm like, they're like, listen, nobody even pays attention to that anymore. Somebody in the league told me that. They're like, nobody's paying attention to that anymore.
They should just, if that is the case, then they should just be like the NBA and at least fess up.
Yeah, and just be like,
just say, no, it's fine.
Yeah, it's It's going to be legal in all 50 states before long. Let's go. But so there's, but I don't buy that anybody even really tries to make anyone go to class anymore, because no one's been academically.
Well, one thing I think
seriously, since Jim Boeheim's battle for Fab Mello, has there been anybody